All right, IED, welcome back. We are going to continue on with Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, and if you remember last time, we completely finished the hammerhead here. So this hammerhead, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at a specific dimension. That's why I still have this open. We're going to go on and model the handle. Before we model the handle, though, we need one really important bit of information, and that's the diameter of that hole. Right? What is the diameter of that hole? The way we get that diameter is by we tap the hole there, and then on the top right you might see a tape measure on my screen, and then like a scale, little picture of a tape measure. I'm going to tap on that tape measure, and then a window comes up at the bottom and it says, hey, diameter of that hole is 1.25. That's all I needed. Okay, 1.25. Remember that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back now into, I guess I'm in recently opened, but as long as you see that blue plus on the bottom right, you should be good because that's what we need to tap on. I'm going to tap on that blue plus, and we're going to be able to create a new document. Remember, start with your initials, and we're going to do mine is JDC. You're going to have a different one, obviously. Put your initials, and then underscore, we're going to call this handle. Okay, so we're going to go underscore handle, click OK. And now we're in a brand new document. Remember, we have these planes. The very first time we open up a new document, we're going to have these planes to select from because we're going to have to start with a sketch. We're always going to have to start with a sketch. And the way we start our sketch is by tapping on that 2D tool, the pen icon. That's the 2D tool. So once I tap on that, a window comes up and says, hey, select a plane, face, or surface. The way you create a sketch is by tapping on one of those things. And since we don't have any geometry in here yet, we have to select a plane. The plane that I'm going to select this time around is going to be the top. I know in the last video I mentioned how I almost always pick the front plane. This is one of the cases where I think it's going to be better and easier to model if we do the top. So I'm going to first turn off the visibility for my front and right. Remember, you just tap on the eye next to whichever plane you want to turn off, and it'll turn off that visibility. You won't be able to see it anymore, so I'm going to tap on front and right. Once I do that, now I can go and tap on the 2D tool again because I'm going to have to make a circle. So I'm going to tap on that pen icon, the 2D tool. Oh, first it would make sense if I actually tapped on the plane first. I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to tap on the top plane. That's going to create my sketch. You can see sketch 1. And now it actually opens up my 2D menu, so it lets me know, hey, your sketch is open, your sketch is created. What do you want to do on your sketch? What I want to do is I want to make a circle. So I'm going to use the center point circle, which is right there. Once I tap on that, I can start creating my circle on my sketch. Remember, you always, always, always want to start on the origin with your first sketch. So I'm going to tap on the origin point, and then I'm going to tap again, hold, and drag, and it's going to be able to create my circle. Once I do that, I can kind of just eyeball it. We're going to dimension it in just a second. So this can be random, let go. It's going to create that circle. The way that we dimension this to the exact dimension we want is we go to the pen tool or the pen icon, the 2D tool again, and dimension is right here. So I'm going to tap on dimension, and then I'm going to tap on the circle. Once I tap on it, it shows up my dimension, and I'm going to tap on that number, 1.894, and I remember from that hole on the hammerhead, it's 1.25. That's why we needed that dimension, because this handle is going to have the exact same diameter because it's going to have to go through that hole. So once we type in 1.25, hit the green check mark, and now that's made. What we're going to want to do next is extrude this. We want to make it 3D. The way we make something 3D, we use the 3D tool, which is that sphere icon at the top left. So I'm going to tap on that. It's going to give me two options. I'm going to want to extrude this. So I'm going to tap extrude, and then I'm going to want to extrude this 8 inches. So you can see the depth is set at 1, but I'm going to change that to 8. That might be a little too tall. We might be extruding a little too much, but we can always change that later if we need to. Once we extrude that to 8, we can click on the check next to extrude 1. And now we have this cylinder extruded. That'll be our handle. It'll be able to go through that hammerhead. We're not quite done yet. I want to, again, make it look pretty. I want to add some detail to this. And this is going to actually be a kind of an advanced tool that I'm going to be introducing to you, but it's going to be really cool. So what we're going to do first is we're going to orbit down to the bottom because that's the part that I want to look at. And you can actually see on the kind of the top right of my screen, you can see this 3D cube. If you tap on it, a whole menu comes up and it says, hey, select a view if you want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that and I'm going to tap on bottom. And then what that does is it brings me directly straight on looking at the bottom view of my cylinder, which is what I want because this is where I want to create a next sketch. I want to create a second sketch on this surface. So again, if I tap on that 3D cube, this menu comes up and I can tap on bottom. Now what I want to do is I want to create my second sketch. So I'm going to create my second sketch. I'm going to tap on the cylinder now. I don't need to tap on the plane anymore because I have some geometry here. So I'm going to tap on this actual cylinder surface. And then it's going to let me draw whatever I want on that cylinder. What I want to draw is another circle. So I'm going to go to center point circle here. I'm going to now zoom in because I want to tap on the edge of this circle. So if I tap on it, you can see that little dot there. Once I have that on the edge, I can tap again and drag. This one I'm going to make really small. So I'm going to make it about that big, and then we're going to dimension it. I'm going to go to my 2D tool. 2D tool, and then dimension again is right here. I'm going to tap on that small circle. It's going to give me a dimension, and I'm going to tap on that dimension to change it, and I'm going to change it to 0.125. 0.125, hit the green check mark. It's going to be a really small circle, that's okay. What we're going to do next is we are going to, let's see, how about we finish our sketch? I think I'm happy with that circle where it is. As long as it is on the edge there, you can see the center point's on the edge, we should be good. All right, so we should be able to finish our sketch, and you'll see where this is headed in just a second. I'll hit the green check or the check mark next to sketch 2 to finish the sketch. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my 3D tool. My 3D tool, and the tool that I'm going to use is called Helix. You can see it kind of looks like a spring, a coil. I'm going to tap on that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on the round part of my cylinder. So right there. So it selects the whole thing. And you can see that a spiral, a coil, becomes, it appears and it shows up on the cylinder, which is really good. That's what we want. Once we do that, we can hit the check mark next to Helix 1. And so now look, we have this spiral. And you can see OnShape is so smart. It already knows what I'm attempting to do. So the spiral, the coil, it starts on that center point of my circle. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use another 3D tool. And I'm going to tap on my 3D tool, the sphere icon. And I'm going to go to sweep. Sweep is right here next to revolve. And what I'm going to do is now use the sweep tool to make the circle, little tiny circle I made. It's going to sweep and follow that coil as like its path. So it's almost like it's combining the extrusion tool with an added feature. It's the extrusion tool with an added feature. You can extrude and make that extrusion follow a path. This path being the coil. So the first thing we need to do with the sweep tool, and you can see it's highlighted in blue, no entity selected. What I want to do is I want to go and orbit down to the bottom so I can select this circle first. So I'm going to select the circle, but look what happens. When I tap on it, only half of it gets selected. If you want to just make sure that this looks good, I would tap the other part of the circle as well, just in case. And then what you can do is go to the sweep path. You can see on this menu on the bottom right, it says 2 entities selected. Right below that is sweep path, and it says no entities selected. So I'm going to tap on where it says sweep path, no entities selected. And now I'm going to be able to select my sweep path. So my sweep path will obviously, if you guys probably understand already, is going to be the coil. I'm going to tap the coil, and now look. It's going to coil all the way around my cylinder, and I'm going to hit the check mark next to sweep 1. And now look, it's kind of like a little detail to the handle, which looks pretty nice. Okay, so that is it right there. That is all we need to do. Again, this automatically saves, so the next thing you need to do is probably take a screenshot of this and upload it to that class kick assignment. The next part that we're going to be making is the pummel. Okay, we'll see you in the next one.